Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, where in a single moment you can recognize your brilliance and change your life. This is a transformational hour that covers an array of topics that demonstrate how individuals use their native talents, as shown in their name, to look at the ordinary in extraordinary ways. Albert Einstein once said that everybody's a genius. Why would one of the smartest people on the planet declare that everyone is a genius unless he knew that to be true? I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, creator of Namology Science and author of the best-selling book, Know the Name, Know the Person. And in tonight's show, you'll hear the fascinating ways that Sharry discovered the genius in herself and what she was able to accomplish. At the end of tonight's show, you'll hear clues on how you can recognize your own innate genius. Our expert tonight is Sharry Edwards, who has done the most remarkable job in breaking the sound barriers of disease and interpreting how sound affects our health. Sharry has been accused of being too scientific by some and too esoteric by others, when in fact, she is actually the bridge between the two worlds. Sharry is the acknowledged pioneers in the emerging field of vocal profiling using bioacoustic biology. She has provided the leading edge research for years to show that frequencies of the voice can be used to create a holographic representation of health and wellness. Her research has caught the attention of large pharmaceutical houses, government agencies, alternative health providers, and those who wish to create a better future. Recently, AT&T declared that bioacoustics is the medicine of the future. Sharry uses bioacoustic frequency patterns to shed light on what is happening in our bodies. Bioacoustic frequency is not used as a diagnostic tool to label anybody with a specific disease. Instead, it's used to assist in the understanding of what's happening in the body, like inflammation, nutritional deficiencies, and other health challenges. All of this is based on sound. For legal reasons, I'd like to reiterate that bioacoustic frequency does not diagnose anyone's disease. So for health conditions, you see your physician. However, bioacoustic frequency is a remarkable tool for understanding our bodies. Sharry Edwards was named Scientist of the Year in 2001 by the International Association for New Science for her work in bioacoustic biology. She's the director of the Institute of BioAcoustic Biology, which provides tools and solutions that create a new paradigm for health. Since so many people are not pleased with the current state of healthcare, bioacoustic biology allows individuals the opportunity to be in charge of their own health and to know what is happening within their bodies, so that they can make wiser decisions based on knowledge. And again, AT&T has declared this as the medicine of the future. Sharry's been acknowledged by so many organizations, including the Duke Encyclopedia of Alternative Medicine, as the pioneer of the emerging field of vocal profiling using this tool of bioacoustic biology. Welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You radio show, Sharry.
That was a great introduction, Sharon. I feel like my head is too big for my body. That sounded so wonderful.
Well, what you're doing is absolutely incredible. It is just amazing. Now, I used a lot of big terms and a lot of big words. So could you simplify it down for everybody who doesn't have a scientific background, what it is exactly you're doing?
Well, bioacoustic literally means bio, body, acoustic, sound. And the sounds that the body makes are many cells make a sound, but we don't hear it. We make rude sounds, snorting sounds. But the sounds that give the most information about the body are the sounds coming out of the mouth into the ear. And that's what we study. We program ourselves by bringing the voice through the air and then back into this dual system. There's no other system in the body that does that except the sound system. So we deal with body sounds. We stick a microphone in front of your face. We look at the frequencies of your voice and where they are out of tune or out of balance or harmony with each other. We know by now, because of trial and error, really, because we didn't know anything. We didn't know what we were doing. So from trial and error, we learned that certain frequencies stressed or too high or too low mean something. People with similar issues and traumas and broken bones and whatever, if they have similar issues, their vocal print goes into a pattern for that issue. And that's the tenet that we've brought about, that Mayo Clinic is using, Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, MIT, they're all using it in different ways, but they are proving that it works. There really is this built-in thing that our Creator put here for us so we can know about ourselves, that we can speak it and look at it on a modern graph and know what it means. And I think this turns out to be something somebody made us this way so that we can take care of ourselves. The ancients knew about it in doing toning and sounds and songs, and I think the modern people are just now beginning to catch on that this is a great way for us to take care of our own health.
Now, see, I love this stuff, especially because people ask me, why does namology science work? How can you tell from somebody's name? And I say it's the vibration of the name, and it causes a difference in the cells. So with your research, can vibrational waves impact our cells, causing us to become healthy or to become sick?
We have thousands of case studies showing that to be true. Incredible things that are supposedly impossible to cure, like macular degeneration. We're working right now on MS and the immune system. We've been able to help the body reverse Parkinson's, and broken bones, and you name it, we probably tried it.
I just think this stuff is so amazing. Before we get too deep into your fascinating material, I'd like to interpret some of your name. May I do that for you?
Absolutely, and I want to ask you a question about it too.
Sure. Sharry's name indicates that she has a tendency to be a workaholic or a couch potato, one extreme or the other. She's sensitive to the people around her and has the ability to sense if someone's walking their talk due to the high levels of sensitivity that she has. She wants freedom more than anything else in her life, as freedom is the most precious thing according to her name. So she's not someone who would be a blind follower of anything or anyone. Sharry's name also indicates that she requires large amounts of alone time. This has nothing to do with the great company that may be around her. She intrinsically knows that she requires alone time to think, to reflect, and to rebalance herself. She's amicable and can get along with anybody that she wants to get along with, and the choice is hers. The real key is, does she want to? Interestingly, Sharry, your name indicates that you attract people who are upset or unhappy with the status quo. You also have fairness issues, as you want the world to be fair. And as such, you can easily stand up for others, but find it a bit more challenging sometimes to stand up for yourself. And anyway, that's enough about your name. Did you have some questions on that?
Wow. Can I have a copy? You just described my life. Good grief. I had two questions, actually. Do you go with the sound of the name or the actual spelling, like Renee, Renee, but it's pronounced that A on the end?
We do both. We do both. You go by the actual spelling of the name when you're interpreting it, and then the sound that you hear, even if the letters are not present, also add to what the name is giving you, because it's all in that vibration.
Well, one of the things that I have always thought about in my life is my name as Sharry, like a sharer, a Sharry, because I tend to give anything I can, and sometimes I can't afford to give away, but I share what I have. And as I look at the things that I revere in life, think about Star Trek. Captain Picard would go up to the wall, a little cubby hole there, and he'd say, Earl Grey tea hot. And it would just appear. And that always was so divine to me because he didn't pay for it. He got what he wanted. It's like he deserved. We share everything. And I love that idea. And there's this Ferengi, people who are all the time trying to collect gold. And I saw that as the epitome of everything is in duality, everything is free and free-flowing, and it's abundant, as opposed to a place where I see people on the planet, a lot of them are there to gather money and get power and a big house and whatever. And I always saw that as what's going on in the world, and I really want to push toward sharing everything that I have. Some people come up to me and they say, if this is so real, why do you give it away? If this is so wonderful, why do you have to shove it at people and give it away and not charge anybody? It must be worthless.
Isn't that a shame that we equate value with the price tag that's put on things? By the way, the Sharry, the sounding of the E on the end of your name, anybody whose name ends in an E or the sound of an E, it means that they're overly generous. And that's exactly what you're describing.
That's exactly what I feel, that I want. This information that will set people free, I want to give it away to everybody. And that's why we do these.
Hold that thought. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. After the break, we'll find out more on breaking the sound barriers of diseases. During the break, you can check out Sharry's website, soundhealthoptions.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Sharry Edwards, whose website is healthoptions.com. It's sound like SOUND. Health is HEALTH. Options, OPTIONS. Before the break, Sharry and I were talking about how we have voice and the sound that our ears hear and how it can distinguish what's going on in our body. Okay, so you've been doing this, Sharry, now for quite a while, okay? So how does vocal analysis actually work? I mean, what is it taking, or what is it doing that's actually producing that kind of information?
We don't know. Isn't that a sweet answer? We don't know. In the beginning, we were just trying to find out what my voice and ears were doing, because I hear above normal range, and I can produce pure tones like a machine with my voice, and I didn't know that. I was raised in Appalachia, no running water, no electricity, no nothing, just nature sounds, and I think my ears and my voice developed differently because I could hear almost word for word what people were thinking. And I think the ancients could do that. And it was hard to hide feelings and distrust and that you were a scumbucket. But with the event of all modern electricity and things, we have forgotten that. And there's some psychics out there, some very good ones, that say, tell me your name. And then from the vibration of your name, the vibration of the words, just like if you sing a sound, Yankee Doodle Dandy, if you're singing it, it has a frequency, just as if you're saying it. And the frequency of the voice is a sound. The frequency of an aroma, we call it smell. The frequency of sight, we call vision. And it's all down to frequencies. And frequencies are all that we are.
Well, and we keep hearing that vibrational medicine is where we're all headed. You know, in the Aborigines, in Marlo Morgan's book, she talks about mutant messages down under. She talks about how they all talked silently because they could all hear each other.
Yes, and I think we forgot. They're a very ancient culture and an ancient tribe. I love her book. By the way, it's very, very old, 20 years old or something. And she began to bring all of this in. But the brain is your central processing unit. It's full of frequencies. And here's all these frequencies that we don't know how they originate. We don't know how a thought becomes a frequency, but it does. And the brain sends it all over the body. You want to crook your little finger? Your brain sent a signal, a frequency, to get your little finger to crook. Well, we just figured out how to send a frequency to a bone to make it heal itself and move over and set itself.
So can incurable diseases also be cured through vocal analysis?
Yes, because, well, it's the body who cures. I don't want to go to jail by saying we cure anything. But we've done Down syndrome, totally helped the body reverse it. A lot of incurables, macular degeneration. MS is going to be the next one that they have no cure for. We've already helped the body back off a lot of the issues with the eye. We just need to discover what the commonalities are, and then we can share that software with anybody that has MS so they can see what frequencies in their body are at stress, and we put them back in harmony like a beautiful, wonderful song, and voila, the person gets well, and I love it.
This is so incredible. Okay, I have this burning question. People lie. A study was done that indicated how often the average person lies, and it was incredibly frequent. I mean, I was just flabbergasted. And so do the lies work, or does the sound of our voice cut through the lies to reveal the truth?
you can see the truth and you can see who's lying. The voice gets very scattered. We just did the Korean guy to see what his voice was really saying and what his health was doing. Kim Jong-un, he tries to act like a big, bad monster, insane person that's going to push the button. But we looked at a speech that he did to a bunch of children, and he really has a nice personality for those children. He was trying to persuade them while they were young, much like Hitler did, but he had a whole different personality. So he's a bipolar, or he's pretending, and he has a lot of PTSD. So he's not well at all. There was diabetes in his file, insulin resistance. He can't use sulfur. That's what we backed it up on. His voice told us that all of his issues with cholesterol and everything else he's dealing with, all is an inborn issue with the inability to use sulfur. And we go in and give him the sulfur by a product or the frequencies, and the body heals itself. We do hundreds of these a week for people who are stumped. Their doctors are stumped, and they send us a vocal print, and the computer, through the years, it's taken us years and years to make this easy for people. So we put their vocal print into the computer, and it spits out their issues and what's wrong, I guess, and what's right, because it tells us the frequencies that the body needs to be an entire song that is melodic and wonderful with no sour notes and no Metallica.
See, that to me is so amazing. Now, I know that at one time, I have a drama minor with my math major in college, and I had a speech coach. And the speech coach constantly told me, lower your voice, you've got too high pitch, you get tingy, lower your voice. And I wonder, how does that affect, for other people that have lower voices or higher voices, does that affect the health of the body or the harmony of the body?
Absolutely, and that's a clue that just fell on us like a tree when we discovered that each octave of the voice deals with a different system. And you can have the same note, but in a different octave, and it means something totally different. There's a muscle octave, there's a biochemical octave, there's a toxic octave, so we can see down in the depths of your voice. And we've just created these computer programs over the years by looking at thousands and thousands of people's voices and sort of backward science, figuring out what it all meant. And the clue, the ace in the hole, was my ears, because I could hear when Aunt Georgie had diabetes, or I could hear when the baby was going to get the measles because they'd already been exposed and now they were going to break out with measles. So without that clue, and there's an interesting story behind that that'll blow you away, without those clues of my hearing and voice to verify things, it would have taken us a lot longer to do this. So we did a project for the Army, and MIT took that over. And those were all about brain damage from acoustic blasts in the Army. If they tried to figure that out on their own, I think it would have taken years and damaging a lot of brains with these acoustic blasts, because I believe the Army would do that to people just to get data. But I was just thinking that I'm just an abnormal person or a schizophrenic because I could hear these things, and I was successful in it, and people thought I was psychic, but I knew it was more. We finally discovered the sounds coming out of the ears, and I was teaching a class in Georgetown to a big bunch of doctors, and this doctor in the audience asked a question, and I thought, I don't know the answer to that, and all of a sudden, I'm over here in the corner listening to my body answer the question. And my thought was, I got to go write that down. That's really interesting. So I was just thinking I was nuts until Sylvia Frank wrote the book, the Tree of Life and the Holy Grail. And in it, it's about the Templars and how they were a sect of the Catholic Church and charged with keeping people safe, keeping them healthy and keeping them safe. And they became very rich, and King Philip decided that they were richer than he was, and so he decided to get rid of them, and he burnt a lot of them at the stake and whatever. And they were called the Templars. And Sylvia Frank made the statement, Sharry Edwards is a modern keeper of the Holy Grail information that the Templars brought through. And it was such a sigh of relief for my life, for my body, for the tension in my brain, that this somehow became imbued into my DNA, and I'm just the radio delivering an ancient message to the people.
This is so cool. Now, I want to know a quickie yes or no, because we're running out of time, so we can continue after the break. Does our voice reveal our authentic self?
Yes, absolutely. And the software that we use for that is Nano Voice, and we can give your audience a copy if you'd like.
We'll talk about it when we come back from the break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. After the break, we'll find out about this and some Star Trek protocol. Anyway, more information on Sharry's website, soundhealthoptions.com. We'll be right back.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Sharry Edwards, who is the pioneer in bioacoustics. Her website is soundhealthoptions.com. Okay, I have got so many questions for you, Sharry. First of all, we were just talking about how the voice can reveal our authentic selves. Now, what's the machine looking for and able to tell authentic from non-authentic? Or if we were just listening to somebody ourselves, are there clues that we could tell?
If you have been trained, yes. And I'll give you a couple. You look for what's not there, and you look for a lack of flavor in the voice. Did you hear the difference in what I just said?
Uh-huh.
If you listen to people on commercials, and everybody will start doing this now, those gold commercials where they're selling gold, that guy's not telling the truth, because when he gets to, I buy this gold, there's no flavor in his voice. So there's no octaves that are built on each other, and that bottom octave that he has is foundation, but he has nothing to build it on. He has no emotion, he has no creativity, no fantasy. And when you hear that, you know they're lying. But you have to listen to inside the voice at the same time. And we have built a software for people to know their authentic self. It's called Nano Voice, Nano Voice, and we give it away on that soundhealthoptions.com. It's under downloads, under Nano Voice. There's a textbook there for you. There's tutorials, and there's over 500 videos to teach you to use it. And you can start a business, or you can just begin to see who's telling the truth. There is an issue with this, though. What do you think is going to happen if everybody has to tell the truth?
I think it would be incredibly marvelous personally. I mean, when I read Margot Morgan's book so many years ago, and I thought, wouldn't that be marvelous if everybody had to walk their talk because you could tell if somebody was lying or not? I think our world would be such a better place.
But first there would be chaos. There'd be lots of divorces. Our legal system would go to pot.
Well, it's a what do you call it? I call it a legal system, but not a justice system. So maybe it could help.
Yes. My mom always said, the truth will set you free, but first it will make you miserable. But it's gotten so bad about money. One example, EpiPens, those pens that if you're allergic to nuts or something, they took those, and I can't remember who makes them, but they upped the price. It cost them about $6 to make. Go on the internet and look.
They're now $300 to buy.
Yeah, they upped the price to $750 per, knowing that these things were going to change people's lives and death, and if they could breathe, they're going to die, and people had to buy them. From $6 to $750.
I was going to say, with insurance, that they're $300. They're horrible.
That's still horrible. We have an EpiPen with sound that we have used, not in testing, because I refuse to make somebody sick, but in a situation with bee sting, allergic to walnuts, allergic to 409, we have used this, and it works. Somebody needs to give one of these little frequency boxes to every parent who needs an EpiPen, because I think we're being taken advantage of, and that's not fair.
You know, it's interesting. The reason I know the price of those EpiPens is because I needed to buy them for a family member. And when I went and looked at that, and we went back and talked and said, well, there's got to be an alternative because you can't afford to keep doing this, especially because after a year you have to replace them. And I said, we've got to start looking into alternatives. This is crazy, you know, on many people's budgets. Okay, I have another question for you. Last time I spoke to you, I love that news, by the way, by the EpiPen. Last time I spoke with you, I had just come from a very highly stressful situation. And yet, when we talked, I was trying so hard not to let that stress come out in my voice. But does stress come out anyway in the voice? And if that was the case, even if one was vocally trained like a singer, could they hide the stress in their voice?
Well, people who are on air do it all the time. And with the little nano voice, it's topic specific. But if you get a frequency analysis done, you can't hide anything. And there's software on that site also under downloads. One of them is for radiation exposure. And we do classes every month that are 2 days, and they're free to people if they want to check that out on the site under classes. I'll give you an example of the kinds of things that we have found using math as frequency. People tell you if you want to lose weight, you go on a high-protein diet. Well, we have proven mathematically that high-protein diets creates uric acid, and uric acid turns on, even in animals, that's what gave us the clue, turns on their hibernation gene, so anything coming in you will keep. And we can show that with people. We can show if they have lipidemia or if it's a brain chemical or if it's a hormone. And that's the very next class that we are teaching free for people if they want to join us.
So in other words, if I heard you right, that means you don't want to go on a high protein diet to lose weight.
Correct. You'll lose it temporarily, but and then if you've lost the weight, then you've got to control the uric acid and that gene. It's called a fat switch gene, and we can identify it in your vocal print.
Isn't that amazing? So have you identified what does help people lose weight, like veggies or whatever?
It depends on their brain, for instance, and we just look and see, is it serotonin? Is it dopamine? You know, why do human beings eat? Why do they think that's pleasurable? Because if you take the frequency of a masseter muscle and the frequency of a pterygoid muscle, the chew muscles, together by frequency, they create dopamine. Dopamine is the pleasure neurotransmitter. So it's not that there is a pleasure in eating. The brain creates the pleasure by the movement of these two muscles working together. There's thousands of these connections. You're a math-based robot. And math as medicine is going to be accepted as the medicine of the future. I got exciting news. We just came back from Las Vegas, where bioacoustics was presented on stage of the International Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. Now, you heard me describe how this came from a very esoteric perspective, and I'm falling out of my body and I'm over here. But because we have results and because they're repeatable results, we were welcomed on the podium for this international medical conference. I'm overjoyed. I'm flabbergasted.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Okay, so since words consist of sounds, can words create our reality?
I think so. If you look at some of Bruce Lipton's epigenetics and people who've turned around cancers and brain tumors and whatever, and there is a trick to this, and I think we lost it someplace. If you listen to the sound in your ears, and you can cup your hands and listen way over in the other room and listen here, listen over there, and your ears will begin to ring with a really high-pitched sound, like thousands of tree frogs off in a distance. That's the perfect sound to balance and heal your body. And you don't need a thing I have, because you carry around that healing sound coming from your ears all the time. I wrote an article about it. It's under In the News articles on our site, and it gives you step-by-step instructions how to go into that altered dimension and heal yourself. But boy, you better be ready, because if you're afraid of spiders, a 6-foot one will be there. You just have to say, take a bite, I'm going on.
Now, some people get ringing in the ears. Is that a similar thing? Is that a body attempting to heal itself?
I think so, except when it is damage to the ear, and it's the same sound all the time, and it never goes away. And that's tinnitus. But if you hear these different sounds in different environments, like in a different room, I can hear the size of a room by doing the sound and knowing what the sound is. It'll give me the dimensions of the room. So you're hearing that all the time. You're hearing other people all the time. And sometimes you can't stand to be by somebody. They're making a sound that's taking you off your center, off your balance. So absolutely those sounds can heal. It's called a signature sound in ancient times. And I want to ask you a question. From what you've just heard, how can we bring through this ancient information combined with the new science of it?
You know, it's one of the things is to educate people. It's what my goal is, to let people know exactly what's out there. Okay, stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. After the break, we're going to find out more on breaking the sound barriers. And during the break, please check out Sharry's website, soundhealthoptions.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is Sharry Edwards, who's the pioneer in bioacoustic, and her website is soundhealthoptions.com. I have got so many questions for you, Sharry. It's unreal. Robert Monroe and his Monroe Institute studied the effects of sound on brains and created tapes or CDs that would guide one's brains to create a predictable outcome. So I want full disclosure here because I'm a certified trainer for them. But I'm really fascinated if you could compare what they're doing and compare and contrast it with what you are doing.
Well, a lot of things that Robert did really impressed left-brained people. And that's because of the way he put the sounds together. He would put 100 in one ear and 106 in another ear. And for right-brained people, there was no leftover sound, or for left-brained people. For right-brained people, they heard the difference. So he would need to do 96 in one ear and 102 in the other so that everything would be divisible by 6, and there was no leftover sound that the right-brained people were going to hear. But he's done wonderful things with consciousness. But when his wife got sick, he called us because that isn't the kind of thing that he was doing. I went to him when I first discovered what I was doing and what could be done, and he didn't want it. So it got thrown right back in my lap again. And so it just latched on to me for some reason. I didn't plan any of this. It just happened. But Journeys Out of the Body is an incredible book that he wrote, and it's very, very similar to using that sound in the ear that's in that article about going into theta. I love his work, and it occurs to me about the ear, too, that if you have tinnitus, it may interfere and actual damage to the ear. So all of the cases that we've done, potassium, actin, and myosin are the 3 consistencies if you have the ringing in the ears, and potassium is probably the most prevalent one in bananas and baked potatoes and a pill bottle where you can get some
or
potassium.
turkey.
Yeah. So if you have tinnitus, you might try some of those things. We've written an article about it in helping you get rid of it if it is damage.
Just amazing. And so many people have tinnitus. What a gift, that is. Okay, we all want to know about your Star Trek protocol that helps back pain.
We have found that we can give people the little multifida muscles in between the vertebrae, and their back pain will go away unless it's from surgery or damage or something like that, and we can even help that if we do it individually. But this whole thing came about when we discovered that we could put 2 sounds together and it reacted like the tricorder. Remember Dr. Beverly and Bones on Star Trek? And they'd take this little tricorder thing, okay, and they're healed, and it was that fast. Well, we've been able to set bones for animals and humans, and they heal very quickly. There's a lot of these profiles on our site under, I think, sports medicine. But the wonderful thing about it is it sets the bone. It puts the, I was thinking about a dog that got shot, and one of the bones in her hind leg was sideways when we got her to the vet. And you could use the sound and watch that bone begin to respond and move back into place. Now, that's within minutes. If that isn't Star Trek medicine, I don't know what is. And that's what we want to develop, and that's what we want to put in everybody's hands, so they're free of all of this garbage that our government is trying to overlay on our health rights. That's another show.
I was going to say that's a whole other show, what's happening with pharmaceuticals and all of that. And this is such a healthier approach. Okay, so we've talked about some of the tools that you've got on your website. Sound Health Options. Everybody, you just need to go to that website. It's amazing. It's in depth. There's so much there. I think you could spend years there, but you can maneuver around and see what parts interest you. Question for you, Sharry. Can you have better health in the future by listening to particular sounds today?
I think absolutely you can. I'm in my 70s, and I don't have any trouble getting up out of the chair, and I don't hurt, and I don't have arthritis, and I look about 50, and I've been using this for the last 20 years. People are really shocked when they find out how old I am. So I think absolutely. We have a rejuvenation software that is for anti-aging, and it has telomeres and stem cells and all the things that we need as we grow older. Another thing that we can help people through is in the news there's a keynote, and every week we put up a keynote. The one up now is for December 24th through the 30th, and it tells us right now the frequencies for gluten are really active. So if you have any sensitivity, stay away from it. So the gluten. So this just gives you information about the frequencies coming from outer space that control the tides and sunspots and things like that, and how it controls you as a person. And maybe that knee hurting is not really you, but the frequencies coming to Earth that's combining with yours if you're a sensitive person. And so just wait a few days and it'll go away.
Wait.
It's your biofield. We're trying to look at the biofield, the ancients called the aura, the prana, the chi, and look at it in terms of a computer program to tell you how frequencies are influencing you from outer space, from your job, from your radio, from your TV, from the food you eat. It's just math as medicine.
It's amazing. Well, I love the fact that it's math as medicine because I'm a math major. I think that is so cool. And to see another application. You know what? I think so. I really think so. How does someone contact you if they want to be helped by you?
They can go to the website. If they want to take classes and learn to do this and set up a business, go to classes. If they want us to do it for them, and we do that every day through their doctor or just through them, we create what we call management reports to help them put their health issues together. That's under clinical services. We'd much rather teach people to do it, but we know that a lot of people just don't want to be bothered. They want somebody to do it for them.
Right. I feel that way with namology. I'd much rather teach people how to recognize in a name where somebody's challenges are and how they can interact with them. But a lot of people would just rather have somebody that's trained to do it for them. I so get that. Okay. Earlier we were talking about high voices and low voices. Is one sound over another? Are those people healthier? I mean, are men healthier because most of them have low voices, or does it really matter?
It doesn't matter. What matters is there is a complete set of notes and a complete set of octaves. People who are very, very healthy and put together emotionally. Ron Paul is one of them. There is a lady by the name of Gwen Olson, who used to be a pharmaceutical rep and quit to tell on the pharmaceutical company. Her voice looks absolutely incredible. Andrew Wakefield's voice looks incredible. They have all of their notes. There's nothing missing. And a lot of the times we will seek people who have our missing notes, and that's how we choose our mates.
Now that's fascinating.
We'll be doing a whole show on that in February. But if people want to see how to do it or use the software, just go to Vimeo or YouTube and just use my name. It's Sharry, and look up Perfect Mate. It's all there for them to use and to learn, and enough so that they can share it with other people and do it for other people and charge them.
I think this is
business.
It's so incredible. Sharry, you have your own radio show. What's the name of that, and how would somebody find out or tune in? Or
It's Sound Health Options on Sunday, and we usually have a guest. We're having a guest this Sunday about how science has been bought off. And then on Tuesdays, we do two shows alternately, one called Happy Hour, where people can call in and have their voice analyzed, and another one, Direction for Truth, that if there's something in the news that people want to look at, like we just did Harry and Meghan's voice, and they're just getting married, and how are they going to get along, and what's all the things that are going on. That's a follow-up from what we did for Princess Diana and why that marriage broke up. We look at what Julian Assange puts out. We followed the campaign and knew what was going to happen through all that. So whatever people want to know about, they just write to us. What do you want revealed? Who's lying? Who's not?
I think it's fabulous. Thank you so much for being with us, Sharry.
It has been awesome.
Be prepared to see plenty of information when you visit Sharry's website, soundhealthoptions.com. In Sharry's name, she enjoys her private time alone. This is represented by the double R in her first name. If you have the double R in your first name or know someone who does, they too require large amounts of private time so they can reflect and think and rebalance themselves. Do you know where your genius lies? I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, host of the radio show Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. This is Sharon Lynn Wyeth signing off.